Grinders. Welcome to the NFL pre-lock show for the Rams versus the Seahawks. I need to remember what game it is. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka Blender Ed, Blender HD, if you want to follow me there on Twitter. Joined by Justin Van Zuden, STL Cards. We actually got a good game on a Thursday. Typically, we're stuck with the crappy ones. Rams, Seahawks. Rams are currently a 2.5 point favorite. 53 over under. I normally I'd be excited, but I think we actually have more limited options in this game than we have on most. A lot of times the crappy games, it's like, oh, we got like $800 guys and $1,200 guys that we could play. These teams are fairly condensed, so I'm excited for the game, but I'm not that. I don't know. I'm not that excited for the showdowns.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, you know, I guess they wanted to give us a good game for something for us to talk about. And perhaps the sports gods feeling a little pity for me after the Cardinals lost in the wee hours of the night last night. So we'll at least have a good football game to watch tonight and talk about so that I can, you know, boycott baseball for a couple of days until the heartbreak is over. But yeah, it should be a fun game tonight. But I agree with you, though. The builds for DFS, given the layout of this game, a little trickier, but maybe not as tricky now if you're, you know, with Carson being out for Seattle.
Right. I'm talking trickier more for duplication purposes, not
Sure.
like, oh, yeah, you can build a good lineup, but just that it's a much more condensed pool than you'd normally see on some of these showdown slates. But the big news,
the touches on these teams are a little more concentrated than what we'll see with some of the other teams.
Right. And the big news is that Chris Carson is inactive. He was a game time decision for this game. So that's going to launch Alex Collins into the RB1 role for the Seahawks, which means DJ Dallas should be, you know, the kind of, you know, change of pace back, and Travis Homer, the third down passing yardage back. 3,200 on Showdown. Justin, is there any reason why he shouldn't be the jockiest guy in the entire slate?
No, I mean, I think he makes a lot of sense. The Rams have struggled a little bit more against the ground game. I think there is the path to him not getting there is Seattle falling behind, because I do think that they will use Homer in more of those passing down situations. I think Collins and Dallas, you know, that's probably a duo that is going to take most of the carries. But if the Rams happen to get ahead, you know, 21-10 or something like that in the second half, you might see Collins not getting all those touches, but he is 3,200. I think there's a path in some lineups to get away from him in GPPs in the event that Seattle falls behind, because A, he's going to be popular, and B, I just don't think he's going to get there in the pass game. I think they're going to use Homer for that.
Well, I think even on first and second down, like this, even with Carson in, like Carson doesn't really get targets. I don't think it's a byproduct of Carson. I think it's just a byproduct of the offense. That the running backs in neutral game scripts on first and second down are less likely to get the dump offs, the screen pass, nothing designed. I think that's the better way of putting it. Like Carson never gets really anything designed to him in the passing game. We shouldn't, I mean, I have to expect you shouldn't expect that for Collins either, but it's not like Collins can't get passing game work. And just like on the other side of the game with Darrell Henderson, like we typically know Darrell Henderson as like, okay, a guy that, you know, maybe you'll see one or two targets, but the Rams really don't design things to their running backs either. But I think it's more likely. I mean, we've seen even with Michelle in when Henderson was out. I mean, Michelle got like 4 or 5 targets, but like I said, these aren't necessarily designed plays. So the volatility of running back targets on the slate should be fairly high. It's quite possible none get, you don't get none, but I have no problem in lineups where I have a quarterback captain, which I do. I don't mind playing these guys. Like I consider all of the running backs for both these teams to be, quote, pass catching to some extent, where it's not so much that they run the ball where like, oh, it could be a screen pass to a touchdown. And like that can work out. Are you designing any lineups where you're like forcing the fact that like none of the running backs could be with the quarterback? Because I don't, especially on this slate, especially with how condensed the player pool is, like you start making too many groups like that, and then you can't make any lineups.
I do think it's viable a little bit here, just because so many of the passing targets go to the receivers on these teams. But I don't think you want to make it a hard and fast rule on all your lineups, like you said. Then you'll run out a lot of combinations, and you'll have a lot of lineups that look the same.
Okay, so outside of that news with Carson and the running backs, the passing games are, I mean, they're the headliners on both these teams. You got Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You got Stafford with Kupp and Woods, Higbee, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson for long passes. We also have Gerald Everett is still on the COVID list, so he's not listed as inactive, but he was never moved from the COVID list, so he's not going to play. So Disley should see most of the tight end snaps, but of course they don't really design stuff for their tight ends anyway. But we see Cooper Kupp. It's very rare on a showdown slate where a wide receiver in a game, especially in a game that's a 53 total and two pass heavy type of quarterbacks, where the wide receiver one on one team is actually more expensive than the quarterbacks. Do you think that will actually, do you think his ownership will actually be under what he should be because of that? Or do you think people just like, it's Cooper Kupp, he gets a ton of targets, jam him in?
I don't know. I mean, I think it will be a little bit lower, just because the natural tendency is, I'm just going to play the quarterback, and I'm going to get my production there. But the guy has double-digit targets in every game, so it's hard to argue against him. But yeah, a little bit of sticker shock there on the salary for sure. I think he'll be like, right now we've got Kupp at 41% ownership in the not including captain, and we've got Stafford at 50, so only 9% difference between them. I think it'll end up being a little bit higher than that, because Kupp's $1,000 more, and that's just weird.
Well, I think Woods, I think there shouldn't be that great of a gap. I think there definitely should be a gap between Kupp and Woods, but not $4,800 difference.
Right.
And I suspect that Woods will be in the flex spot higher than 26% off. So I think, if you're not going to play Kupp, I mean, you're going to play Woods, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think you got to play one of the two, but there will be a game where Woods puts up the bigger numbers. I mean, we saw this over the last couple of years. They would kind of alternate games, and I know, new quarterback this year, and I know Kupp's been the guy so far, but there will be games where Woods outproduces him, or at least matches his production, and he's half the salary. So,
because if we look at even a captain ownership, I'm going to switch over to captain. The captain ownership, we have Stafford is 1, Wilson is 2, Kupp is 3, Henderson 4, Collins 5, Metcalf 6, Lockett 7, Woods 8. I think the Woods ownership is going to be much higher than this. I would think the Woods captain is going to be a 10% own. I think it's flat enough. I mean, from a captain perspective, these are the guys that are, I mean, these are the guys that should be in the captain spot. I mean, especially when we have Collins is so cheap. Let me just explain or make sure it's clear. If you're going to play Alex Collins in the captain and spend most of your money, you're not going to be as unique as you think you're going to be. Okay. So, because when he's 4,800 in the captain spot and you're able to jam everyone in, you go, oh, wow, I love this lineup. But if Collins is going to be 11% down in the captain spot, like, to me, those are the most, the Collins lineups may actually end up being the most duplicated lineups on the slate, because, and like,
the Collins captain lineups.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I it's because the team kind of comes together so easily with them, like you say, Collins captain, zero out the salary, use all the big wide receivers and the quarterbacks. You're going to have a lot of duplication there. When Collins gets 150 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns, it'll be one of those nights where 1,000 people chop it up.
Right. If the jammed in lineup wins, what I'm saying is that if you're going to play Alex Collins and the captain in the large field stuff, if you're playing a single entry, smaller field, don't worry about it. But in the large field stuff, you plug Collins in, and then where Tyler Lockett is there in the flex and you're spending nearly all your salary, just switch to Swain. Right. Go to Freddie Swain, leave money on the table, and you're more likely to be. Even that won't be unique, but at least probably be more unique than leaving Lockett or Metcalf, or if you have Woods in that spot, like put Deshaun Jackson there instead. Leave $3-4 grand on the table. I just always want to give out that tip with the cheap captains. People think it's sneaky, but it's like there actually are less combinations that when you spend most of your salary for those types of captains. But like, aren't those the top? I mean, would you be playing a Van Jefferson or a Higbee captain or a Disley captain or a Homer?
I don't think so. I just don't think the targets are there. And one of those big name guys. I mean, it's going to take like 2 touchdowns from the tight ends to get there over the star receivers.
I think you could play the defense captain. I got some defense captain lineups.
There you go. These are the games where nobody likes to play the defenses, 50 some odd total. I think the defenses will be a little lower owned than what we have them right now. And I don't mind it. I mean, both these defenses can make plays.
If you're going to play one lineup, just one, do you close your eyes and just pick between Metcalf and Lockett and just whatever happens?
Yeah, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, which one you choose. I mean, it's so tough between them. I mean, you can try to make a case for either one, but really it's just guesswork.
This is where someone comes in and gives me some type of wide receiver cornerback matchup. Jalen Ramsey, isn't he? He's on the Rams, right?
I mean, Metcalf usually draws the tougher coverage, but he's also an athletic freak. So, I mean, it's just so tough.
Didn't we have this matchup last year? Metcalf just like burned everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
like 2 touchdowns and 180 yards.
Yep, and nobody played him that week. I think that might have been a main slate game.
Yeah, that was a main slate. I can't play him because of Jalen Ramsey shadow coverage, and then Metcalf went for like 40 fantasy points. So no, just like Devin in the YouTube chat, just like from the Soulcast. Aren't you worried? Aren't you worried about Jalen Ramsey? Like, no, I'm not. I barely know the defensive players. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But if you're in the YouTube chat, feel free to type in your questions. Give those thummy thumbs. Give me those thummy thumbs. I'll wave them at you until I get them. Thummy thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We'll be looking also at some props because that'll be helpful for if you take a look at not just the projections and go like who has a somewhat of a shot at getting a touchdown. And if you're going to bet, go to BetMGM and deposit. If you're a first-time user, use the promo code GRINDERSBET. GRINDERSBET, all one word. And if you had a $10 bet, if your favorite team scores a touchdown, you get $200 for nothing. Just $200 out of thin air. So go to BetMGM and use the promo code GRINDERSBET. Donnie Watson asks in the YouTube chat, do you think Homer and Collins can be played together in the same lineup due to their salary? I say yes.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I probably won't use Dallas and Collins together, but Homer and Collins together, I think you can.
Right. It's viable. I mean, just understand that they likely can't be on the field at the same time. So they are negatively correlated, but of course you do have, you only have so many choices to make. I mean, you could play those two guys together and they could both. Homer could get there on 4 catches for 30 yards and a swing pass touchdown, and Collins could get there with 100 yards and a touchdown. I mean, at their prices, right? I'm less likely to have Metcalf and Lockett together in a lineup, especially if one of them is a captain, right? If you can play Metcalf captain, maybe you don't play Lockett in the flex, only because of their prices. It's more of the Collins Homer thing is more of a price thing. Like, could you play Henderson and Michelle together in that same regard? Michelle's only 1,800.
I suppose, yeah. But Henderson's more expensive. Like, I don't like it as much on the Rams side, but I think you can. I mean, because Michelle is so cheap.
Right. I just understand that
I don't trust them to run the ball as much, though.
No, but also if Michelle gets a touchdown, I mean, Henderson at 8,400, you'd rather him have all the touchdowns. Collins, when he's 3,200, like if Homer has one and he has one, they're both cheap. I mean, like if Collins has 80 yards rushing and a touchdown, he's probably going to be in the optimal lineup at 3,200. But if Henderson has 80 yards and a touchdown, he could easily not be in the optimal lineup at 8,400.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because of the salary.
Dan Janning, how about a defense captain and then 4 guys from the opposite team? You're describing a couple of my lineups.
That's a defense captain and
then
4
guys from the opposite team, because you want the defensive touchdown, and then then the other team gets the ball back, and then they're chucking them.
Yeah, because points allowed really doesn't matter.
Right. Okay, let's see. Derek Ringering says he has some homemade broccoli cheese soup on a cool rainy evening and watching football.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I like broccoli cheese soup. Is that what's your what would you consider your top 3 soups? I'm a soup person.
I like chicken with rice. That's probably my favorite.
That's boring. That could be anything.
I'm a fan of a good cheesy potato soup.
Okay, my wife likes cheesy potato. I'm not a big fan.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think of a third.
Okay. You're not a soup person.
My mother back in the day used to make like pork chops smothered with cream of mushroom soup, which was really good, but I don't like cream of mushroom soup by itself.
Okay. My
tomato soup is overrated. That's my hot take.
Tomato soup?
Tomato soup and grilled cheese.
Tomato soup is what? You might as well just get a ketchup and just put it in the microwave. Right? I mean, come on. Really? My top 3 soups are Manhattan clam chowder. Okay, so that's
number 1.
Yeah, no, that would be number 3.
Oh, we're going.
Right.
We're going.
I'm going back. I'm going back. Number 3, Manhattan clam chowder. Number 2. No, number 2 is lobster bisque.
So you're in the seafood realm. See, I'm
right,
not
but number 1 is mushroom barley. But I have a sentimental reason for that. My grandmother made the best mushroom barley soup, and I remember when I was younger, I ate it all the time.
Well, there you go.
So if you get a normal mushroom barley soup, you're just like, okay, whatever. But it's specific.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't have expected that to be on number 1 on the board.
Well, because it was great. It was a good mushroom barley. It was good because it was good.
Can't argue with that.
Okay. We're just answering questions to the YouTube chat. People are talking about soup, so we're gonna answer the soup questions as well. But let's go to Slate IQ. Eric Beimfor here runs the simulations, finds the game archetypes in our vast database of games from DraftKings, and looks and sees what games match this one the most, and then take our projections and run thousands of simulations to see what lineups in the large GPP on DraftKings shows up in the top 0.1%. This is premium. So you get this for every showdown. So sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. Click on the link in the description. You get $10 off your first month. But according to this, the highest leverage roster construction is 2-4. 2 from the losing team, 2 from the winning team, 4 from the losing team. 4-2 also has somewhat positive leverage. 3-3 is heavily negative. And the onslaughts are negative as well. And I'm a big fan of the 2-4 construction to begin with. I like, people overthink this if they're going to build 2-4 and they go, oh, well, the 4 losing team players, I'm going to put one of them in the captain spots. Like, I'm more likely. So if the Rams are favored, this also doesn't mean favored or under. I just mean winners or losers. So like, my lineups look more like I have Cooper Kupp in the captain with Stafford in the flex and then 4 Seahawks. Like using the 2-part to use your captain because you want one guy to basically get all the production. Now, obviously, you're not going to do that at quarterback probably because quarterback, you're going to pair him up with 2 or 3 pass catchers. But my lineups in this 2-4 construction look primarily with Metcalf at captain, Kupp at captain, Collins at captain, right? but Collins and then the Seahawks defense and then 4 Rams or something, some combination like that. And then we take a look at the captain usage, and it's heavily on wide receiver 1, like overwhelmingly heavily. Quarterback 1 is close. DST is positive leverage. DST, that's why I got some DST captains, and a running back 2, which is hard to judge on this slate because with Carson out, these simulations were run before Carson was out. So this technically would be Alex Collins, even though he's the RB1 now, but he was the RB1 at the time, RB2 at the time of the simulation. So looking at this, this is how I build my lineups, Justin, right? So I'm building 60 lineups. My captains are the quarterbacks, the wide receiver 1s, the DSTs, and the RB2s. I didn't get to any Sony Michel captains. So of course he's going to be Henderson's going to get injured in the first quarter, and Michel is going to be the winner only because I didn't include it in 60 lineups. But hey, according to our simulations, that would be the positive leverage way to go. If you had one lineup, Justin, where are you more likely type of construction would you make? Would you just look to get both quarterbacks in and just
I think so. I'd probably captain a wide receiver 1, like you mentioned. I didn't catch half of the Slate IQ talk because I was reading about soup in the chat. And Dean was, you said mine were boring, and Dean threw out chicken noodles. So, you talk about the chalk there.
Is it chalk? Does anyone actually like chicken? No one puts chicken noodles number 1.
Only when they have a cold.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Chicken noodle is I'm getting a sandwich, and I like sandwiches, and that's the main thing. It's like, oh, by the way, we throw in chicken noodle. Okay, give me chicken noodle, cup of chicken noodle with it, type of thing. You don't go out of your way to get chicken noodle soup.
No, I've never once gone out of my way for any specific chicken noodle soup, or really any soup for that. I mean, it is kind of a thing. But anyway, yes, I agree with. I think captaining the wide receiver 1 makes sense. You just got to pick the right guy. So,
but even Cup at that price.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it would probably be one of the Seattle guys. I'd probably take my shot on one of those 2. Spin the roulette wheel and pick one.
I mean, we could make a Cup captain. I'm gonna see what these look like. I mean, I have
a Cup.
Let's see, Cooper Cup, and let's just throw it in. Let's get some. Okay, so the best one. Oh yeah, you're going down. Cup, Stafford, Henderson, Woods, Collins, Parkinson. Who's going to be the second tight end?
You gotta have one total punt in there.
Right, you're gonna have to, and that spends 49.4. Either that, I mean, unless you play Cup without Stafford, it could be one of those lower scoring games where Stafford is not in the optimal lineup. I mean, that would make you a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't know. It's just hard to see the quarterbacks not getting there tonight, but this will be the game where they run the ball. I guess that'll happen after we have that discussion.
Right. I'm going to load up the blitz projections. See what difference is there. Okay. So we got Cup. DJ. Okay. So basically it just comes down to some punt guy, right? DJ Dallas. All right. We're looking all the way at the bottom. Let's look all the way at the bottom. So we talked so much about it's very condensed, right? We got teams that have very distinct, right? We have the running backs. We got Metcalf, Lockett, Swain is the third wide receiver. You got Disley. Then on the Rams, you got Kupp, Woods, Van Jefferson, Higbee, Deshaun Jackson going out for some long, whatever. Obviously, the kickers and the defenses. But how about if you were to punt these cheap options, especially the problem with this slate also is that with Carson out, to play a lineup with a guy under 3,200 without Alex Collins in your lineup, you need someone that could beat Alex Collins. It's a difference between having a lineup with Alex Collins. So it's you have him plus a punt. So if you play Travis Homer pretty much has to beat Collins in order to be optimal in that type of lineup. But the guys underneath, who's he? I mean, who do you play?
Yeah, the only guys we have projected for more than 2 points down here are Parkinson and Dallas. Everybody else is projected at like 1 point or less. I mean, Homer, who was going to be somewhat popular, but you're talking under 1K.
I'm a Penny Hart.
I mean, I got to look and see how many snaps he has played.
Like, how about Penny Hart or Philip Dorsett? Oh, okay, we have to go. Oh, we never asked, right? Because I don't know defensive players. Who's the kick returner for
I gotta
Seattle?
look these things up. I should. Penny Hart played 8 snaps last week and 8 snaps the week before.
Okay, how about Philip Dorsett?
I don't think he's been active.
Was not on the actives today.
No, I just don't think he's been active in previous weeks.
Previous games. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes it even better for Penny Hart. I have no idea what this guy even looks like, but he's in like 7 of my lines. Who's the kick returner for Seattle?
I'm getting there. I was trying to figure out where Penny Hart went to college. All right. Let's see. Dallas returned kicks last week, and Freddie Swain returned punts.
Okay, Swaim. I mean, Swaim is already viable as it is. And on the Rams, who returns for the Rams? Right. Doesn't Kupp return for the Rams sometimes?
He used to return punts, but he's so valuable offensively now. I don't know if they still have him do it. So let's see. Tutu Atwell.
Okay.
He's $200 if you want to bet on a punt return touchdown.
Right, and he'll get like 2 or 3 snaps total, maybe.
He was a good college player. Means nothing now, but he was a good college player.
So is Colby Parkinson the play down here at 200?
I guess he might catch touchdown. Should I be
playing Parkinson or should I be playing Penny Hart? Should I be swapping?
I mean, Parkinson played 68% of the snaps last week. Like, I don't.
Okay,
he's fine.
So I should be playing him over.
Yeah, Penny Hart is more likely to catch a 60-yard bomb, I guess, but he's only playing 8 snaps.
Maybe I need to swap out Parkinson. According to the Blitz projections, Penny Hart projects better than Parkinson. By, I mean, we're talking about nothing. Why even bother at this point? 2.38 versus 1.55.
Sold.
But if Parkinson's going to be on the field,
sold on Parkinson with his extra snaps.
Right. So I should be doing a global swap.
I would. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Right. You're not going to tell me what to do. Right. But you don't want to tell me what to do, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on DraftKings right now into my app. I'm going to global swap all my Hart to Parkinson, and I'm going to watch like the first play of the game.
I'm going to bet on Penny Hart to score a touchdown now.
Right.
Like
okay. Let's take a look at now. Before I do it, let's take a look at the touchdown prop.
He might not even
these guys don't have receiving props. Who puts a prop on these guys? Let's see. Yeah, we're not going to find a receiving prop. Right, Freddie Swaim, 20 yards, distally 22. We're not going to. Penny Hart props don't exist. But let's look at the touchdowns. Okay, so they got Dorsett. MGM doesn't even have it on the board. Who's Ben Skowronek? Well, he's plus 16
from Northwestern.
Colby Parkinson at BetMGM plus 1,600 anytime. Okay, how about where's Penny Hart? Penny Hart is plus 1,600 also. So that didn't solve my problem.
Coin flip. Bet on that. Somebody put $100 on Penny Hart to score a touchdown and PayPal some money to Blender if he does.
Let's reload it. Maybe it's changed. Let's see. We're on scoresandodds.com. Take a look at all this. Penny Hart plus 1,600. And then we got Colby Parkinson plus 1,600. But according to some other books, Penny Hart is a little bit lower. Well, on FanDuel. Plus 6. So if you're gonna bet on a Penny Hart touchdown, don't do it on FanDuel. Right, plus 650. How about Johnny Munt? Plus 1,000. Second tight end for the Rams. Seems like I'd shove him into some lineups and he never has a catch.
See, why is he so much lower than the other guys? Why is he plus 1,000? The other guy, he shouldn't be any.
Why should Colby Parkinson be plus 1,600?
Maybe there's just great value on Parkinson here. That's what.
Well, I don't think it's great value. I just think Tutu Atwell is plus 1,600 also.
That's just the default. That's the default for anybody who here. We're just going to take your money, bet you plus 1,600.
Right. Bryson Hopkins is plus 1,400. Who's Bryson Hopkins? I don't even know which team he's on.
Yeah, we don't have him projected at all.
Is he even in? Who's Bryce? Who is he?
He's another tight end for the Rams.
Oh, he's another tight end he's the third tight end for the Rams? Then who's Tyler Mabry?
I know we got Jacob Harris in there too. I mean, how many tight ends do they have? Mabry plays for Seattle.
Jacob Harris plus 1,400.
That's another tight end for the Rams. Maybe they're just going to roll out some 3 tight end sets and run the wing T.
How does Parkinson have a higher touchdown prop than guys that are barely ever that are going to sit on the bench for almost all the game?
I mean, I don't think that too much thought was put into them. It was probably just, if you want to bet some silly money on, Bryson Hopkins to score a touchdown, we'll just slap a number on there and he's not going to see the field and we'll say thank you for your donation.
Yeah, but if Colby Parkinson's going to be out there for more than half the snaps, then
right. Yeah, I think he's the play in there for sure.
Okay, so you'd rather me play Parkinson over Hart?
Oh, I would, and then I'm going to go bet Hart to score a touchdown.
How much do I have to bet for him to score a touchdown to make up for the fact that I need to bet a lot to make $1 million if I'm wrong, right?
Well, he's what, plus 1,600?
Plus 1,600. What do I have to bet? I have to bet. I have to bet way too much.
To get your million.
Yeah, I need to bet what? At 16 to 1. I need to bet 10,000.
You need to bet 50, more than that.
Yeah, I need to bet way more than that. Yes. Yeah, no, I'll be the one covered by the tweets. We just got to bet in $80,000 for a Penny Hart touch. They would never, obviously, no book would ever take a bet that big for a prop. If I went to,
you would have to bet $63,000.
Yeah, but they wouldn't even accept the bet,
no,
right? I mean, like if I put $1,000 bet, they wouldn't even accept it. The prop markets are not that liquid. If someone showed up like that, you're not going to get that. But yeah, maybe I should take.
Or if he actually scored after you did that, there'd be a Fed agent showing up at your house tomorrow, wondering what's going on. The fix is in.
But how's the fix in for that? Right?
Yeah, you called up Pete Carroll while he was chomping on his gum and said, "Let Parkinson score a touchdown."
No, Penny Hart, right? I need Penny Hart.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes. Well, you called up the other side then and said Penny Hart to score. Maybe we did that. We had a mutual agreement. You guys let Hart score. You guys let Parkinson score. You're gonna bet big money on
parlay them together.
Oh man, then you don't have to bet $60,000 anymore.
Right. Oh, that makes it so much easier then. This is what we do when we have to fill 50 minutes of airtime. Any questions in the YouTube chat? Because it's not, how much can we talk about one slate with just one game?
People are asking about using Deshaun Jackson
in the captain spot. I mean, I think that's fine to use, not in the captain spot.
Yeah, no, I think he's fine for some risk reward upside for sure. But
okay. I'm swapping my my Hart to Parkinson. And if I win,
throwing away the million right here in real time.
No, but if I win, you're not getting anything either. So it's like it doesn't matter.
Well, that's fair.
Right. So I can't blame you. How come I can't late swap this? My app late swap doesn't even show. Come on, why?
I've never been able to global swap on the app. Can you global swap on the app?
No, I could global swap, but not on this. I can't select this slate. I could select my MMA lineups for Saturday. I can select.
How do you global swap on the app?
By going to global player swap.
Where is it?
Under create a contest and create a lineup. Now we're just now this is just a support channel for DraftKings now on YouTube.
I've never been able to do it.
So I got to look through all my Penny Hart lineups. That's not what I thought I was going to have to do. Should I not change it now?
It's going to make it destiny. Don't change it. Yeah, that's right.
I got to change some of them though.
Well,
I don't want Parkinson to score a touchdown, and I'm sitting here going, okay, here's one. Okay, I'll select one of them. Parkinson.
Do you have any Parkinson right now?
No, I have no Parkinson.
Oh man.
Right, my grandfather had Parkinson's. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
fair enough.
Where's all my heart? I thought I guess maybe I just don't have as much penny heart as I thought I did.
What solves that problem? You're just not going to have either of them.
Or I'm just not. Look, here's another one. Okay, I mean, I'll change. I could play Travis Homer instead, but no. Where's Parkinson? Okay, I'm going to change 2. I think I have 7 lineups total, so I'm changing 2 of them. And of course, it's going to be on the ones where I don't need them. Of course.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, Daniel Hutchins in chat says, Blender, I've had a late swap issues on DK app at times where it mysteriously doesn't show a slate. Right, that's the problem that I'm looking at. Like, yeah, I could swap guys in other upcoming contests, just not the showdown slate tonight. I don't know why. Adam Hutchinson says, play Hart and Parkinson. Just play them both together in a line. And bet their props. Right? Kung Flu says, how about a general question, DK? Is there positive or negative correlation between ceiling DST games and RB1 ceiling games? Typically, I mean, obviously you're talking about the same team, right? The DST and the opposing running back are negatively correlated almost always from a median perspective as well as a ceiling perspective. But RB1 ceilings and DST ceilings are not as correlative as you think they are. Like that running back defense correlation is good at the midpoint, 50th, 60th percentile outcome, but 90th percentile outcomes for defenses are touchdowns. So typically when the defense scores a touchdown, the offense doesn't get on the field as much. The amount of play volume that team has goes down, which decreases the ceiling for the running back. A lot of people think, oh, in the 3rd and 4th quarters, they'll just be running the ball. I said, yeah, but that's fine for yardage. But how about fine for touchdown? You want your running back to have 3 touchdowns. And if the other's offense is on the field because your defense returned 2 touchdowns, you should see why the 90 percentiles of running backs and defenses don't really line up. Defense ceilings are all touchdown based. And that's why when people, especially in Showdown, like playing the defense and then playing the offense of the other team, that is actually positively correlated to 90th percentile outcomes. So seeing my Seahawks DST lineups with Stafford, Kupp, Woods, in the flex spots, like that does make sense. But Stafford throws 3 interceptions. Like, well, I hope they're all pick sixes. That makes it so much better for me. And your Russell Wilson lineups are pretty much dead at that point.
Yeah, get the offense back on the field.
Right. He's not going to be on the field anymore. Luca 85. Do you like Higbee a captain? I don't have any Higbee captain, but I mean, he's viable, right?
I think that's at least interesting. Yeah, that's at least worth the conversation. I mean, just because, could get some red zone looks and there's touchdown potential there.
Let's see. Breadwinner says RB1 won last slate, which means if whatever won last slate, you have to play, right? Because that has to win again. And if you continue to do that, obviously RB1 will win every slate. Isn't that true? Isn't that the logic?
Absolutely.
Because if it won last slate, that means you played this slate, and then it'll win. Then the next showdown slate, you have to go, well, RB1 won the past 2 slates. Got to play it. Dan Jennings says, so if you play defense captain, you don't play the opposite quarterback. No, I'm saying to play the opposite quarterback. I'm saying if you play defense captain, you should be less likely to play the same side quarterback.
Yeah.
You're going to play the Rams defense and the captain.
Rams D and Russell Wilson.
Right. The opposite quarterback, not the Rams D and Matthew Stafford. Now, obviously, play the Rams D and the captain with Darrell Henderson. That's fine. But it's more likely that the ceiling on the defenses come from not points allowed, but by pick sixes, defensive special teams touchdowns, which means that the opposing team will be on the field more. We'll get more offensive play volume. So a lot of people have that backwards. That's for a ceiling. Obviously, from the midpoint, it would be the other way, right? The team gets 3 interceptions and 4 sacks, no touchdowns, and then obviously that team has the ball more because the defense didn't score the touchdown. So, the Rams D has 3 picks, 4 sacks, and Stafford's always on the field. So that makes sense from the 50th, 60th percentile outcome. For the 90th, you want pick sixes. You want stuff like that. Luca 85 says, I feel like a couple of slates tight end have won the slates. That's what he feels like. What does it feel like to you?
Recently?
I don't know. What does it matter? I'm saying this almost.
No, I know. I'm
like,
just
what does it matter?
I know it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to remember. I don't. Well, Waller
Gronk,
in week
didn't
one.
Gronk won the showdown slate?
Yeah, that Gronk.
I mean, it depends on the team. It depends on the pricing.
I know there's no correlation between what happened in previous game. That's just confirmation bias.
Right. Okay, we got 11 minutes to go. Feel free to throw in those thummy thumbs. Give me those thummy thumbs down. Wave them at you until I get the thumbs ups. Right. Feel free, if you're on FanDuel, sign up for the OGs League. We got that still running, right?
Oh yeah, they tape early.
The OGs League still running on FanDuel, right? And the RG Daily Fantasy Football feed, right? We got all the free RotoGrinders shows on there, so subscribe, rate a review in iTunes. We got basically you get 1, 2, 3 shows a day during that feed if you don't want to watch on YouTube, obviously, and obviously the premium content as well. So sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. Click on the link in the description. Get $10 off your first month. Oh yeah, DFSR says Bengals tight end last week. Right, we got the CJ Uzomah game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he scored there late. Boy, what a collapse by the Jags.
ZAR says Homer captain. I mean, anything's viable. Just if you're going to play Homer captain, leave money on the table.
And yeah. I mean, and Homer captain is more contrarian for sure than Collins captain.
Yeah, but Homer's still going to be. We have him projected for 1.21% in the captain spot. Would you go, oh my God, I'm playing a 1% on captain. And then I'm going to jam everyone else in and then wonder why I'm duplicated 120 times. You go, well, how is that possible? It's like, yeah, because 1%, how many lineups are in the big showdown contest? 200,000? Right. So if we're going to go 200, right, let's say it's 200,000. I'm going to do the math. 200,000 times 0.01 is 2,000 lineups. Okay. Now, if you're going to spend, like if I click on, let's go to Homer. Where's Homer? Homer. There you go. Okay, so the optimal, if I have Homer captain based on the blitz projections, would be Homer, Collins, Henderson, Kupp, Wilson, Stafford. You're jamming everyone in. You got 48.7 in salary. So you're leaving 13K on the table. Like this lineup in and of itself may be duplicated 50 times. Because 2,000 lineups will have Homer in the cap. I mean, in the large field stuff. So, like, unless you're going to leave money on the table, let's say we take out Collins. Obviously, he's the cheap guy that projects very well. We run it again, right? We still leave 8. Right. Look, Homer and captain, Stafford, Henderson, Metcalf, Lockett, Woods. I mean, like these lineups still leave 1,300 on the table, and they include like all the best players. So if you think that these are like sneaky, it's like, yes, they're you have a low-owned captain, but this lineup is actually going to be more duplicated than some Stafford captain line, like some normal captain lineups, only because there's more combinations. So in order to be, so you're not duplicated 50, 60 times with this type of lineup, don't spend 48.7, spend 45, right? You take out Woods here and you put in Deshaun Jackson. You take out Lockett here and you put in Swain. You're leaving a ton more money on the table, but at least now you're not. Just understand, a 1% on captain is still like 2,000 lineups. So you're not as sneaky as you think you are with the rest of the slots in your line. But I think that's one of the top mistakes that people do.
Yeah, for sure. And it's tough to get away from because the lineups look so good when you're able to do that.
Right. And this is, I'm saying this for large field stuff. If you're playing a contest with 700 entries into it, well, what's 1% of 700? 7. Okay. So if 1% of the lineups have Travis Homer captains, you're more likely to be unique because it's like, okay, there's more than 7 combinations of Travis Homer captain lineups, even spending most of your salary. But like, there's so many more. People go, well, how do you play the quarterback captains? You know, because like Like, look, I'm going to plug in, Matthew Stafford in the captain slot. I'm going to do that. Right? I'm going to plug him in a captain. I press the optimize button. I get Travis Homer, Matt Gay, Woods, Henderson, Wilson. It's like 49.5. It's like, dude, you know how many punt plays there are on the bottom? Penny Hart, Parkinson, right? Like you could rotate through so many defenses, kickers, like all the cheaper guys enough that the combinations of Stafford captain lineups are way more than Travis Homer captain lineups, unless you're willing to leave 20,000 on the table. I mean, obviously there's more combinations of Travis Homer captain because you could also play the punts in those lineups. But the likelihood of a Travis Homer captain with Parkinson, the two defenses in the flex, a kicker, and Van Jefferson or something like that, and you leave like 38,000 on the table. I mean, like the likelihood of that being the winner is
it's just not very high on this.
It's when we say not very high, it's like it's almost impossible. I mean, to that extent, that they're the six highest raw scoring players on the slate. Like a bomb would have to go off. Or a firearm. Maybe it's like the NBA game the other day.
Yeah, fire alarm.
How do you play preseason? How do you play preseason DFS when they don't care about the games?
It's
so fire alarm goes off. I was reading tweets. Middleton's out. That they have the buffet on the court or something. They brought out like the food from the back, and they're out with styrofoam things and eating together on the court, waiting for this fire alarm thing. And it's like they ain't playing anymore.
Yeah, that was a trip. But I don't play preseason DFS, but I hear it's profitable. I mean, you just got to be able to put the time in it.
Well, it's profitable, and also it's probably tilting that no matter what you do, anything could happen in the preseason. So, like, you play those 2 weeks and you have the edge, you could be profitable, but you may have a slate where I have 80% of a guy that didn't play the fourth quarter because the fire alarm went off, and they have no. If this was the regular season, they would have finished the game.
Sure.
It's a preseason.
Wait
game.
an hour and finish it up.
Right. See, DFSR, DJ Dallas captain at 900. No, you shouldn't be doing this. And if you play DJ Dallas in the captain spot, you still have to leave money on the table. Right? Let's say if 0.24% owned, we have him projected in the captain spot. Okay. So that would still mean in the large
about
GPP,
500 lineups.
Right. 480 lineups. Right. Oh, but I get to jam all the stuff in, and then you win with that and go, how is this duplicated 60 times? I thought I was going to win the $1 million. Nope. Anything else? We got 4 minutes left before lock. Feel free to type your questions into the YouTube chat. Give me those thumbs ups. I'll wave the thumbs again. Wave the thumbs, the thummy thumbs there. Like and subscribe. We got tons of football content on the channel. Daniel Hutchins says, I've 0% DJ Dallas captain, guaranteed winner. And Daniel's nerdy tenor. He does all the simulations. Like I don't even know what Penny Hart looks like. Daniel probably doesn't even know who DK Metcalf looks like. I'm not even sure if I know. I know he's big. I could recognize him with the 14, and he's a big guy. That's about all I know. So I'm just a slight step. Yeah, I'm a slight step above. Like I always say that I don't watch the games. It's like the game's on. I mean, but when I say I don't watch the games, I'm not watching the games for like for fantasy purposes of like, well, what scheme are they running and defensive? I'm watching it like I could watch a sitcom. It's the same. I'm watching my little lotto pieces go around and go, let's see how this play. I have no control over this, but what am I doing for the next 3 hours?
So you're more of a passive viewer.
If it's on, it's on. Like what else am I doing? I might as well see if Penny Hart's on the field. What I'll do is I'll Google like what number is Penny Hart? Penny Hart. He's what it doesn't even say. What's his number?
19.
Okay, so that's what I do. If I have some like schmucky guy in the low range, I go, what's his number? And I want to see him on the field. That's why I like it. Then they have the slip on the bottom. Is that just Monday Night Football when they have like the formation and they list all the people that are in the
I think they do that on the Monday night games only.
Right. I like that the most because it's like now I don't have to look for the number. what's Parkinson's? Colby Parkinson? What's his number? 6'7". Wow.
He appears to be 84.
84. Okay, 84. He's a normal number. Yeah, the numbers are screwing up with them. When I watch the red zone, and I watch these games, I go, the numbers that they don't. As someone that has watched football for years,
the wide receiver number 3 really messes with you.
No, the wide receiver numbers I don't mind because they've allowed the wide receivers to have those type of numbers for a long enough time. It's when I see running back 2s and linebacker 12s. I mean, like those types of things. Like why, other than obviously the offensive line, I always think a running back comes in the game. I'm like, they have 2 quarterbacks in there, right? Leonard Fournette, right? Kyle Pitts is 8. I remember I was watching the Falcons the first week. I got some Kyle Pitts. Like, is Matt Ryan out of the game? I see someone lined up in the back, kind of like in the fullback position, is number 8. What's going on here? Lenny Fournette is number 7. Like, this is all weird to me.
Fournette is weird. I guess Pitts is too, but I don't make a habit of watching the Falcons too much.
Okie doke. So we're at lock. Other than using cheap captains, make sure you leave money on the table so you're not duplicated. What have we learned? Have we learned anything about soup?
Yeah, we learned a lot about soup. Mushroom barley, right?
Well, I don't know if I like mushroom barley because of because it's a good soup, or just my grandmother. That's the only soup she made. Maybe it should have been chicken noodle. How could chicken noodle be your favorite soup? If you have chicken noodle as your favorite soup, you're not a soup fan.
I mean,
there's such a thing as a great chicken noodle soup. Have you ever said, "Oh, this is the greatest chicken noodle soup ever"? It's like they all kind of taste the same, right?
I like a chicken dumpling soup a little better than a chicken noodle soup.
Okay, well the dumplings they taste okay. You like the dumplings.
Yeah, right.
So you make those better. Or just like matzo ball soup. Like I've had
Yes.
matzo. There's no way matzo ball soup can be your favorite soup,
Yes,
right?
but I prefer that. I'd eat that before I ate chicken noodle.
They're about the same. I mean, essentially you're eating just one big cracker in the middle. Like it's the same thing pretty much. Okay. So enough for the soup talk, and we'll get out of here. So we'll see you. I don't know what do we have a good game next week also, or is it going to be another crap fest?
I haven't looked yet. I looked the last couple weeks because I wanted to see if we had something to look forward to. So let's see. I'll check it here quick.
Seahawks Rams. That's a treat for
We have Bucks Eagles next week.
Oh, that isn't that bad.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Right.
Should be some offense in that game.
Okay, so we're getting some good Thursday night football games, and we'll be back with that next week for the showdown breakdown for Justin Van Juden, STL Cards. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka Blenderhead, and we'll see you next week for another edition of the NFL Pre-Lock Show here on RotoGrinders.com.